Good morning, boys and girls. I'm back, and we are nearing the end of our story, our first story, that is, on the secret of the hidden scrolls. And you remember our characters, Peter and Mary, and their dog Hank, the angel Michael, and we hear God's voice creating this world, right? And we know that Peter and Mary are doing what? They're traveling back in time to the time when God created the world. They have to solve the mystery on the scrolls. They've got to solve the third word. I think it's the third word of the three words before the end of 7 days, or they are stuck there forever. It is a story. Doesn't really happen. But what if you were like Peter and Mary and you were back there then? How it would be for you. Well, previously on the secret of the hidden scrolls, we knew that they swam with the dolphins and they were running with rhinos. But at the end of our chapter, what was Peter doing? Wasn't he up in a tree with a rhino right underneath his, you know what he sits on? Let's see. Suddenly, a monkey jumped onto the branch beside Peter. The monkey jumped up and down like he wanted to play. He grabbed a banana out of Peter's pocket and threw it at the rhino. Great idea! He threw the banana too, but the rhino stayed put. You're a funny monkey, said Peter. Thanks for trying to help. The monkey reached to grab another banana, but this time he pulled out the scroll. Give it back, shouted Peter. The monkey laughed and jumped to another branch. I'm not joking. Peter jumped onto the branch beside the monkey and reached to grab the scroll. The monkey moved and Peter slipped. He caught the end of the branch and dangled right above the rhino's horn. Remember that part? It is good, said the big voice through the trees. And Peter looked straight down at the rhino's big, pointy horn. How can this be good? All right, let's see what happens. This chapter is called A Slithery Snake. Peter's hands grew tired as he hung from the branch inches above the rhino's horn. He tried to pull himself up, but he was too tired and scared. Peter heard a rumble in the distance. The noise grew louder and louder, and the rhino ran away. The tree shook so much that Peter could barely hold on. Something very heavy was coming. You know what you think what it might be? Think about that. Peter saw a big cloud of dust, and suddenly Hank ran out of the dust cloud. He was being chased by a huge herd of elephants. Run, Hank, run, shouted Peter. Hank barked and ran toward Peter, hanging from the tree. No, Hank, said Peter, run the other way. Those elephants will knock this tree over with me in it. Hank did not listen. He and the elephants headed straight toward Peter. Then Peter noticed someone riding on the back of one of the elephants. It was Mary. Stop! Yelled Mary. All the elephants stopped. Mary guided her elephant up beside the tree. Peter let go of the branch and landed on the elephant's back. The rhino came back and played with Hank. They took turns chasing each other around the trees. That would be funny to watch. Why were you just hanging around in that tree? Mary gave him a look. We don't have time to play around and climb trees. We only have 1 day left to figure out the scroll. I wasn't playing, said Peter. I was trying to escape that huge rhino. He was about to trample me. No, he just wanted to play. Mary reached down to pet the rhino's head. All the animals are friendly. They won't hurt you. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I am glad to see you, said Peter. But I have some bad news. I don't have the scroll. How could you lose the scroll? Mary shook her head. I didn't lose it, Peter said. One of those friendly monkeys stole it and went that way. Peter pointed up into the trees. Which way? Said Mary. He was swinging toward the two tall trees in the middle of the garden, said Peter. Well, let's head for the trees and try to find that monkey. Well, if we are going to ride something, I'm going to ride the rhino, said Peter. He grabbed the rhino by the horn and swung up onto his back and looked high into the tree on the left. It was full of amazing fruit, and something moved, but it wasn't a monkey. A huge snake came slithering and winding down the tree. Its head was bigger than Peter's. Its fangs were longer and sharper than steak knives. It was hard to tell how long the snake was because it kept wrapping around the tree, and Peter could not see its end. Its scales were shiny and reflected all the colors of the rainbow. The snake was beautifully scary. Here's a picture of what the artist might have thought the snake looked like. Have you ever described something as beautiful and scary? I've noticed that when I see a forest fire, they're very scary, but there's something beautiful about the flames. That's beautifully scary. The snake had all the colors of the rainbow, with fangs as big as steak knives and a head bigger than Peter's. That's a huge snake. Can I help you? Asked the snake in a deep, caring voice. A monkey stole our scroll and we think he is in one of these trees, said Peter. I did see a monkey with a scroll go up this tree a few minutes ago, hissed the snake. It seems strange for a monkey to have a scroll. They are not the best readers. Well, can you go up the tree and get the scroll for us? Asked Mary. Well, of course I will, said the snake. Anything to help friends. The snake slithered up the tree and returned with the scroll. Well, where's the monkey? Asked Peter. You do not need to worry about the monkey anymore, said the snake. Peter grabbed the scroll and examined it closely. It was not torn. It was not even smudged. He also wondered what might have happened to the monkey. I bet, boys and girls, you could guess. Tell me more about the scroll, hissed the snake. We have to solve the secret of the scroll, said Mary, or we will be stuck here. Maybe I can help you, said the snake. Ruff! Hank stood in front of the snake, guarding Peter and Mary, and the fur on the back of Hank's neck stood up, and you know what that means. When the hair on the back of a dog stands up, it's getting ready to protect their people. I don't think we should trust this snake, Peter said to Mary. You can trust me. I already helped you find the scroll, hissed the snake. Mary nodded. Well, that's true. There are 3 words and we already have the first word. What is it? Asked the snake. Well, the first word is God, said Mary. Do you know anything about God? I know a lot about God, said the snake. I know God has not been around here in a long, long time. Well, yes, he has, said Peter. I just heard God in the garden this morning. The snake stuck out his tongue and whipped it back in. You could not have. God has nothing to do with this place or any of the creatures. Well, that's not true. Mary pointed around the garden. God made the world and all these creatures. You must be confused, said the snake. This world has always been here. God did not make any of these creatures. Yes, God did, Peter said. How can you be sure? Asked the snake. I saw it happen. That is impossible. The snake slithered closer to Peter, and Hank ran at the snake and growled. Chills ran down Peter's back. Hank does not trust this snake, and neither do I, said Peter. I don't either, said Mary, because I know that God created... Just then the scroll shook in Peter's hand. He opened the scroll. The second word glowed and changed into the word created. Check it out, Mary. Peter felt hope fill his body. Maybe they could solve the scroll. We have the second word. Actually, I did, Mary winked at him. But I guess you were part of it. The snake was not happy at all. He revealed his sharp fangs. Before Peter could move, the snake wrapped around all three of them tight. I think you three are here to stop my plan, hissed the snake. And no one is going to stop my plan. Chapter 10, the karate lesson. The snake wrapped itself tighter and tighter around Peter, Mary, and Hank. Peter tried to get his arms free, but they were trapped in the snake's powerful grip. The snake was squeezing the hope out of Peter. It's no use, hissed the snake. You cannot escape. The snake stared into Peter's eyes and showed his long, sharp fangs, remember, as big as steak knives. You have something I want. Now, hand over the scroll, and I might let you go. You can't have it, Peter wiggled in the snake's grip. He pulled his arm around closer to his body and tried to hide the scroll in his pocket. The snake's head darted down. He grabbed the scroll out of Peter's hand with his sharp fangs. Give it back, shouted Peter. Now, let's see what's in this scroll. The snake released his deadly grip and slithered away. You have to give it back to us, said Mary. Or what? Asked the snake. Mary opened her mouth, but nothing came out. For the first time ever, she didn't seem to know what to say or what to do. Or, Peter suddenly had an idea, or Mary will use karate. I don't know what this karate is, said the snake. Well, you're about to find out. Peter looked at Mary and gave her a quick nod. Mary ran straight toward the snake. She did a front flip and jumped into the air with a spinning kick to the snake's mouth. The snake's head flew back and the scroll flew into the air. Peter ran and jumped over the snake into the air and caught the scroll. He turned around and threw it as far as he could. Another monkey was swinging from branch to branch. It jumped from the closest branch and reached for the scroll. Fetch, Hank! Shouted Peter. Hank took off like a lightning bolt. He jumped in the air and caught the scroll right before the monkey could grab it. Stay, Hank, said Peter. Don't let anyone or anything take the scroll. Hank stood still and made a low, growling sound. The monkey slowly backed away. None of the animals went near him. The snake shook his head and rose up from the ground. You know how snakes can do that. So, that's what karate is, said the snake. I will have to remember that. The snake sprang toward Hank and the scroll. Mary jumped with another kick, but the snake slipped under it this time. The snake put another deadly grip around Peter. Mary, and Hank. It was much tighter this time. Peter's heart thumped faster and faster. I can't hardly breathe, gasped Peter. Help! Shouted Mary. A rushing wind whistled through the trees. Branches cracked and leaves swirled through the air. Michael, the angel, landed beside them and pulled out a big flaming sword, probably 5 times the size of a steak knife. Peter had never been so glad to see someone in his life. I knew I would find you, Satan, said Michael. You're too late, said the snake, and he tightened his grip. Peter couldn't take another breath. Release them now, said Michael. They are not the ones you are after. So what? I don't care who they are, hissed the snake. No one will stop my plan. Michael swung his flaming sword and struck the snake's head. The snake let go and made a terrible hissing sound. Peter fell hard to the ground. Hank plopped down in his lap, and Mary landed beside Peter and grabbed his hand. They both stood and backed away from the snake. The snake coiled tightly, showed his sharp fangs, and then started straight at Michael, the angel. But Michael held out a large, shining shield. The snake's head smashed into the shield, and he fell to the ground with a thud. I told you to leave them alone, said Michael. I will, for now. The snake shook his head back and forth. But they better hope I do not see them again when you are not around. The snake hissed at Peter and slithered away, deep into the garden. Peter took a deep breath and let out a huge sigh of relief. Thanks for helping, said Mary. Great kick, said Michael. You'll have to teach me how to do that someday. You saw the kick? Asked Mary. Why did you wait so long to help us? I was waiting for you to ask, answered Michael. Peter grunted. Well, that's good to know. If you are all okay, I have something amazing to show you. Peter brushed himself off. I'm good. Me too, said Mary. Hank ran up and Peter took the scroll. Follow me, said Michael. The 4 of them walked to the edge of the great garden. Stop here, said Michael. We will hide behind these trees. No one can move or make a sound. Why not? Asked Peter. He cannot know you are here. Who? Asked Mary. No more questions, said Michael. The time has come. Well, boy, that was exciting 2 chapters, boys and girls. The next 2 chapters will wind up our story, but I wonder what this special thing Michael has to show Peter and Mary and Hank. So, come back again tomorrow, or not tomorrow, silly. Come back again next week, and we will find out what happens. Have a wonderful Memorial Day. Wash your hands, wear your masks, and love one another. See you next week.